Let's now step back for a while from again automating some UI interactions, and let's talk about device emulations and viewports. Because by default, Cypress has any default for the browser, but you can override these values based on two things. You can hardcode or specify the width and height of the browser, or you can select one of the predefined presets for your resolution. So let me show you. Again, this is a very simple functionality, but very often used. So if you want to, for example, modify the viewport inside this test, we can do it here on the top, and we can simply call sci.viewport function. And in the viewport, as you can see, we have two options. We can specify the predefined preset, or we can simply set the values of width and height. So example number one would be actually filling it with width and height. That's pretty simple. You just pass the values. And remember, we are not passing the values as string, we are passing it as numbers. So if I now save it and go back to our test, as you can see, the resolution is like we have specified here. 800 and 600. If I do some changes, let's say I can do 6 and 600, and I save it and go back, you can see that our viewport in the browser is much smaller, and on the top we can see it's 600 by 600. And of course the test is still passing. But we can run up in a problem. If we make our browser too small, it can, for example, fail because the elements will be not visible. We can try to test it out, even though I am not sure how small I have to do it to make it fail, but let's try. If I change it to, for example, 200 and 100 and save it, then you can see that our browser is so small that even not visible to find the selector mouse over, and it cannot trigger the mouse over event, and for that our test will fail. So always make sure that you are using proper resolution. It cannot be too big or too small. It should be ideally the best resolution your customers are using with your application. So let me change that back. If I put, for example, 800 and 600 again and rerun the test, it should be passing. So right now we are passing again. And also one thing, you will always see your viewport presented here in the logs, because it's like another Cypress commands, so it will be logged during your test execution. So this was option number one. And option number two, let me comment that out, is to use any predefined preset. Cypress gives us some of the presets for the mobile views and also for the desktop views. And you can do it pretty simple. You just do sci.viewport. And right now you pass the value as string, for example, MacBook 15. If I hit save and rerun the test, you can see that the resolution has changed to MacBook 15, and on the top you can see what resolutions are we actually running in. And also the view of the test has been changed. And now you are maybe asking, how do I know what presets can I use? Very simple. Cypress has a documentation website. Whenever you go into APIs and you found viewport, then you can scroll down and there is a preset, and here is the list of all the available presets for us along with their width and height values. And as you can see, we have iPads, we have iPhones, and also we have MacBooks, multiple versions from 11 to 16, and also some Samsungs. So these are the available presets for you, which you can use in your Cypress, or you can just write your width and height manually. So that's all. There is also one thing you can do. You don't need to set viewport specifically in each test. It can be done on the global scale in the Cypress configuration file, but that is far beyond the scope of this basic section videos. So we will get to that later in the more advanced topics. So for now, just remember there are two options how you can set viewport. And if you don't want to set viewport, it will automatically grab the one which is by default set for you whenever you create your Cypress project.